Well, good morning, my friend. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. Good to have you with me on this Wednesday morning. And I am excited about Wednesday. Well, this has been a good week for just me, just God giving me some ideas and just different things going on in my mind right now. That, when you walk with God every morning, the Word of God gets exciting and the vision that God gives you, the drive He gives you, the excitement He gives you, the truth He gives you, just one of those things. I feel sorry for people who don't read the Word of God every day. I get up early every morning, and my biggest reason is I spend time with God every morning. This morning, at about 3:30 this morning, I kind of woke up. I said, I'm not going to stay in. I'm going to stay in bed a little bit longer. About 4:05, I crawled out of bed, was able to spend much time with the Lord this morning. And I encourage you, I'm not saying you have to get up the time that I get up, but there is something about getting up early in the morning and spending time with God. If you're a pastor and you wait till you get to your office to spend time with God, shame on you. You need to spend time with God in your house. When you first wake up when it's dark. I'd hate to think that a farmer works harder than I do. Did you get that? I'd rather I want to be I want to be the hardest working person in my church. I have people that know my church knows what time I get up every day. I talk about it often, and some of my people get up same time that I do, or maybe just a little bit later. Some just a little bit before, and they know they can text me that morning praying for you, doing whatever, and I appreciate that. I'm glad that they think about that. But can I tell you, the pastor ought to be the hardest working person in the whole church. There ought not to be a business person that works harder than the pastor. I'd hate to think that President Trump works harder than me. And boy, there's something about getting up early and laboring in the word and in prayer. God can do something mighty in your life and give you and help you if you will do that. I'd encourage you to do so. Well, today I want to talk about go to another village. In Luke chapter 9 and verse 56 says, "For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives." Boy, I wish some people could get that. "But to save them. And they went to another village." The ministry of Christ gives several soul-winning lessons that if we follow them, it would allow us as a believer to see many people get saved. Now, one of these lessons is when Jesus sent messengers into the village of the Samaritans, but those he sent were not received. When the disciples saw this, here's their reaction. Their reaction was to ask Jesus if he should command fire to come down to kill these people. Is that not like us fleshly believers? But Jesus responded. His response was classic. He said, "The Son of Man has not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them." Oh, Jesus was not interested in these people being destroyed because he understood there may be another time when this village would have a chance to hear the gospel and they would then receive it. However, the lesson I want you to see is found after Jesus responded to these disciples. So notice, one village did not accept them, but here's what it says. They went to another village. In other words, though one place did not receive them, they did not quit, but they moved on to find another place where people would receive, where they receive them. Now, it was while they were on their way to the next village that they so-called happened to come across a man who wanted to follow Jesus. Though they initially where they initially went was not receptive to them. Get this now, because they kept going and because they went to another village, they came across a man who did want to follow Jesus. Now, the secret to being a successful soul winner is never to allow rejection to cause you to stop. Now, you may go to one place where the people will reject you, but you must go to another place where someone may receive you. Just like there was another village to go to, there's another person to talk to after you go to a house to visit that has rejected you. I have found that when I keep going after a rejection is when I often come across another person who wants to be saved. Now, if I allow rejection to cause me to stop soul winning, I'll quickly quit soul winning. But you're going to miss so many opportunities to find people who want to be saved if you don't go to another village or to another person. You have to understand. I know a lot of people think of me as a soul winner, and I'm thankful for that. I want to be known as that. And I am a soul winner. But can I tell you, not everybody I talk to gets saved. There's sometimes I talk to people and they don't want to hear anything. I move on. I move on. There's people that reject me, but I move on. You see, someone asked me how I find so many people who want to be saved. My answer is I just keep going. I find that the divine appointments of meeting people who want to be saved will happen all the time if I'm faithful to go to another village. There is no great soul winner, but there are faithful soul winners who keep going despite rejection and they're considered great soul winners because they did not allow the rejection to stop them. Years ago, when I was a young teenager, I had the great opportunity of going soul winning with evangelist Jim Lyons. Brother Lyons, I know most hearing me would not know, probably just a handful of people know that name. Brother Lyons was one of the greatest soul winners, I think, of my lifetime. He was, whether he's the greatest, I don't know. He was a great soul winner. I thought when I went soul winning with him, I remember the first time I got to go soul winning with him, I thought that everybody was going to fall down at his feet and say, "What must I do to be saved?" And that didn't happen. This is what I found out. Second door we knocked on was slammed in our face. He faced what I had faced, but we kept going until we saw someone saved. It encouraged me, get this now, as a young teenager, to see this great soul winner, I hate to say this, have someone slam the door in his face. Because then I realized, wow, that happens to him too. It's not just me. It happens to everybody. Oh, my friend. So the village you went to rejected you. Go to another village. So a person you talked to is rude and indignant and wanted nothing to do with salvation. Go to another person. Stop trying to persuade them and pushing yourself into that. Stop it. There's somebody else that wants to be saved. This is what you'll find. If you just keep going after rejection, you're probably going to find a person who's almost begging you to be saved. You know, all of the divine appointments I post on Facebook, you know, and people say, how do you get all of that? I keep going. And as I keep going, God will have a divine appointment ready for me if I just keep going, even after the rejection. After someone has rejected the invitation for salvation, I just keep going, and God has someone there. It's up to me to keep going. It's up to God to bring the divine appointment. Apparently, the person I'm talking to that rejected me, they didn't want to get saved. So why waste your time on them? Jesus says, hey, just dust off your feet and keep going. Somebody else, get this now, somebody else will listen, but you've got to keep going. I know people often say that well, you're 1, 2, 3, pray for me. Of course, these people that say that, they've never gone soul winning with me. These people that think I picked the so-called green fruit, they've never gone soul. You ask anyone who's ever gone soul winning with me, and they'll tell you that I'm one, very thorough in my presentation, but I'm very simple, and I give people a chance. And when someone doesn't want to get saved, I move on. I don't try to persuade them. Rarely. Okay, this week I witnessed to somebody. They didn't want to get saved, and it's a rare thing for me to do this. I said, can I ask you why? And they told me. I said, well, you know how to get saved, and I'd encourage you to do it. Understand, I'm not going to try to, you got to get saved. You got to, and I understand there needs to be passion. There needs to be desire. There needs to be fervor. But my friend, I'm not going to force someone to pray a prayer just so I can say, well, I got somebody. I don't do that. This is what I do. I keep going until I find someone. And this is what happens. If I keep, my part is to keep going. It's God's part to bring the divine appointment. If I keep going, God will bring the divine appointment. So if I keep going expecting to find that divine appointment, God will bring it to me. I don't bring it to me. God brings it to me. And that's the secret, my friend, to being a great soul winner. Just go to another village. And when you go to that other village, keep on going until God brings the divine appointment. You're going to find they're there, but you got to keep going. I hope this will be a help to you in your soul winning time. I promise you this, if everybody listened to me on this, and would you share this podcast with everybody on Facebook or whatever social media account you get people to listen to this one. Would you do that? And this is what you'll find. If I could get everybody to get this mindset, we could see a whole host of souls saved every week, and we can make an impact in this old world for Jesus Christ. Wouldn't that be a great thing? Well, my friend, I hope this challenges you today. Now let's remember today, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day.